Welcome, I'm Coach Peter Hill, and today we're going to nurture and grow your best self with life skills and self-management, also called oftentimes now executive function. And we're going to help you help your staff, your students, your friends, your family be the GO.A.T.S.S, the greatest of all times. That's a neuro-linguistic programming technique to get you to kind of remember the 7 self-management skills. Actually, I created that to actually be able to remember them, because I'd always remember 5 or 6 and never be able to remember the 7. So I thought I need to turn these into an acronym, and GO.A.T.S.S is what came up, because GO.A.T.S is a big term used by students for their favorite athletes. So we're going to jump into life skills and self-management. I've created this metaphor for you of a tree. The tree basically gives you the ability to understand the importance of the foundation, the roots, letting it grow up and out. And the first aspect of the tree is mindfulness matters. I actually brought these in from a book that we covered in class called Into the Magic Shop by Dr. James Doty. Dr. James Doty is a neuroscientist, or a neurosurgeon actually, and it's a true story of him starting off in 7th grade, where he actually grows up in an abusive family. He's got an abusive father, disabled mother, always in danger of being evicted at any time. And he goes into a magic shop and he learns really mindfulness meditation, although they didn't have it the name for it at that time. And he actually learned how neuroplasticity, again, a name that didn't exist at that time, actually works. So the steps that you learn in his book, which I recommend everyone, again, Into the Magic Shop, is to relax the body, quiet the mind, open the heart. I added into his process, affirm your intention, and then visualize and create. It's good to write down lists of things you want to visualize and create. Everything that I've put on my list, I've achieved. The 10 things that he wrote on his list at the beginning of the book, he achieved, and way beyond that. It helps you to set long-term goals and focus. And again, you just keep focusing on that every night, every morning as you start, and you draw those things to you. So you're always putting that into your intention, heart wide open. Again, great book. Once you understand that mindfulness matters, and you start getting people to be more mindful of their intention and what their purposes are, motivations, then we move into the roots of the tree. The roots of the tree, I actually collected these from another book, another author that I really enjoyed, called Dying to Be Me, the book by Anita Moorjani. She had stage 4 lymphoma, and she was in end stage, going into a coma. She had basically a near-death experience, and she came up with 5 lessons that she came back with. I took those 5 lessons and I kind of remolded them a little bit, remapped them, made them my own. But the first most important root is to love and value yourself. One of the things I find with students, I give them a self-evaluation at the beginning of the year on the level of self-esteem they have, how much they love and value themselves. And it's not uncommon for students who come from good families, who have very healthy, nurturing environments, give themselves 8, 9, and 10 in their self-esteem levels, whereas students that come from very challenging families, poverty, homelessness, oftentimes they're on the bottom scale of giving themselves 1 or 2 or even 0. So teaching our students to love and value themselves is so essential. Leo Buscaglia, who helped motivate me in some of these areas, had a great story. He used to teach English in college, and he had a brilliant female student who got A's in his class, brilliant, inspiring writer. And when he came back in January after the semester break, he found out she committed suicide. And he was devastated. He thought, you know, what are we doing wrong in our educational system? And he really came upon the realization that we do not emphasize enough or teach enough love and value of oneself. Because when you love and value oneself, you set good boundaries, because values drive choices. If I love and value myself, I love and value my education, I love and value my family, then from there, I'm going to make choices based on that. If I want people to like me and I want to be accepted, I want connection, and then I do things that are oftentimes unhealthy just to be connected. So love, foundational root. From there, very important that we develop humor, a sense of humor. So we don't take things personally. Humor breaks up what I call our assemblage point, and we don't take things personally. We can grow and learn. We can make mistakes. Part of growth mindset is you can make mistakes and move on. If you can't laugh at yourself, then it's very, very hard. We have that fear of making a mistake, fear of being embarrassed. And so it's important to have that gratitude and appreciation. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we're happy. When we're focusing on what we don't have, we're unhappy. Very simple, very, very simple formula. And so again, I had a friend of mine the other day hurt their big toe. Never really had a great appreciation for their big toe until they had a hard time walking because they had stubbed it, they'd hurt it. And we tend to oftentimes overlook things that we should be grateful for, can be grateful for, and just take things for granted. Courage is really learning to move from our heart. Coeur, coming from the French word, or courage coming from the French word coeur, meaning heart. So when we move from our heart, we're focused on service, we're focused on what we want to create, what we want to do. If we're not moving from courage, we're oftentimes moving from fear. Fear is focusing on ourselves, what will people think, what will happen to me? And that's a position of weakness, is a victim mentality. And then of course, we want to have passion and enthusiasm for what we do. If we're not passionate and enthusiastic about what we're doing, we're probably in the wrong profession. So again, passion allows you to get up and be excited about creating. I love creating things like this. I created a success pyramid that uses a lot of the same things. And I let students use these same kind of ideas to create their own metaphors that help them have a visualization in their mind of what they want to create, going back to the Mindfulness Matters. So again, the 5 foundational root systems: love and value yourself, humor, gratitude, courage, passion, and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, meaning moving within the fire of God, being enthusiastic, having that power. Now, interestingly, beneath love, I used Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. But again, I had a hard time, challenge always remembering all 5. I remember 3 or 4. So I created the acronym AGAPE to be able to remember those. Agape, for those of you who know, is a Greek word meaning love of family. And A is for affection, G for gifts, A for affirmations. Affirmations, I use those all the time with my students. I'm always encouraging them, speaking to them on who they can be and who their best self, speaking to their best self instead of focusing on mistakes or negativity things. Presence, spending quality time, and then enthusiastic service, learning to be enthusiastic in our service, because when we do service begrudgingly, okay, well, I'll do that. Yeah, I think I could cover your duty for you. You know, those kind of things don't really feel like love. Enthusiastic service creates a feeling of excitement. So again, we have the Mindfulness Matters and the roots. And again, those are always things. One of the things the tree does, it allows us to take students from looking at the small picture, the tracks every day of dealing with the in and outs of the day, to the big picture, the trail. Where am I going? Where am I going a year from now? Where am I going 5 years from now? And then that moves us up into the tree itself. Now, we have healthy goal setting. Very important. We're always setting goals in classes, you know, getting things done. You know, what I want to create, setting goals for college, setting goals for careers, you know, things to explore, trying different things so that we get a feel for what's happening. Self-control, of course, what comes out of our mouth, what goes into our mouth. Self-motivation for a lot of junior high and high school students, junior high especially, and elementary, most of the motivation comes from external factors. So learning to look at things from a self-motivation. What are your goals? What do you want to create? What do you get excited about? Again, going back to the roots, the passion. Healthy stress management. I've had students that practice stress management by cutting themselves in the past, you know, vaping, doing drugs, doing things that are not healthy, punching walls, you know, when they get angry. So learning to teach healthy stress management to get rid of stress in healthy ways, running, exercising, fitness, sports, healthy organization, you know, putting things in, you know, line in notebooks, backpacks, whatever the case might be. Healthy time management. Procrastination is a big challenge with a lot of junior high students and even adults. You know, a lot of teachers are wait till the last minute, I see, till something's due and then they're rushing to get it done. Or I see a lot of things when Teachers turn things in late, just like their students do. And then, of course, accountability and ownership. Accountability and ownership is an important skill. The difference between blame and accountability is that blame is always justifying or blaming someone else for why I did something or didn't do something. Accountability says, this is my intention, this is my goal, and this is what I'm working toward moving to do. Now, I had a hard time remembering all 7 of these skills as well, and so I put them into the acronym G.O.A.T.S.S, okay? So again, G.O.A.T.S.S is a neuro-linguistic programming technique just to help you kind of drill into your brain. It's got a double meaning of the greatest of all times. And then we have goal setting for G, O for organization, A for accountability, T for time management, S for self-control, S for self-motivation, and S for stress management. Again, one of the important things we want to do is we want to discern between healthy and unhealthy choices. Is this a healthy choice or an unhealthy choice? The word decide, interestingly, has the root word side in it. And if you think about all the other root words, or all the other words that have that word side in it, C-I-D-E, side, decide. Oftentimes I find that when I do this, people have a really hard time coming up with other words until I say suicide, homicide, genocide, infanticide, patricide, matricide, pesticide. We have tons of them. So the root word side means to kill, cut off, or cut out. So when we decide something, we cut out what we don't value. So if we value our education, we cut out things that are a threat to that. When we value our health, we cut out things, our emotional health, physical health, mental health, we cut out things that are unhealthy. So decide, great word, powerful word. And again, success is really setting goals and achieving them. Very simple. You set a goal, want to get up this morning, you got up, you achieved your goal. So you set lots of small goals, medium goals, big goals, long-term goals, part of time management. And happiness is a state of mind. So if you have a goal of being happy, all you got to do really is say, gosh, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. You're happy. Happiness is a state of mind, is not a goal. If you focus on what you don't have, what you don't want, and the things that you don't want to happen, then you're going to be unhappy. So if you're successful and you are unhappy, that's gross mismanagement. Very important to combine the two, being successful and being happy. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation today. I've given you actually a copy of the poster so you can print it out. It's in color. I may update it. If I would have created the G.O.A.T.S acronym before I created the poster, I would have actually put goal setting, organization, accountability, time management, self-control, self-motivation, and stress management in the order of the limbs on the tree. But again, I'm always coming up with new ways to kind of spark my students, to spark myself to be able to remember things and make them more effective. Thank you for joining us today to nurture and grow your best self. Use this, love people, love and value yourself, love people, and use things. Use these tools that I've given you. Thank you. How long were we at?
Right at 15.
It could be that, huh?